I am currently in Nepal, in Lukla, the starting point for everyone who wants to go to Mount Everest. I'm here because I'm filming a documentary with one of my best mates, Victor, who's photographing me at this very moment. And we are only here because 3 years ago, I talked to a guy in a restaurant in Iceland who sent back his fries 3 times because they were too crusty for him. This sounds very weird, but the real topic that I want to talk about today is luck, how to make it, and how to utilize the chances that are laid out in front of you, and how to create more. Now, over the past couple of years, I seem to have gotten increasingly luckier, which has brought me an immense amount of joy and opportunities in my life. And I kind of figured out, either through personal experience and by learning from other people, especially from Naval and his podcasts, and book, a very important book. It's called The Serendipity Mindset that I read. I figured out from personal experience and various sources um, reliable ways to get more lucky. And that's what I want to talk about today, how to utilize serendipity. I'm going to tell 3 stories, and we start all the way back in 2023. I'm working in a restaurant in Iceland as a server, putting in 12-hour shifts so that I can live on this island that is incredibly expensive to live on, and then travel it afterwards with a friend of mine. And in the middle of one of my shifts, a customer walks in, or he gets in on a wheelchair with his daughter. It's a dad with his daughter, which immediately makes him very sympathetic to me. He orders some fries. We have, exchanged some words that you exchange as a customer, as a client, or as a guest and a server. And I bring him his food. He sends his fries back. Says, "Ah, no, they're not crusty enough." I'm like, "Okay, no, fine. That's all right. That's all right. We'll send him to the kitchen." The kitchen, I was like, "Hey, what the fuck's going on?" Yeah, not crunchy enough. Okay, we'll fry them again. They fry it. I bring it back. He tastes it and he's like, "Oh, nah." Sends it back. Too fried, too crusty. The kitchen is getting pissed off at me and at the customer. Um, and I'm like, "Okay, we're just gonna get him new ones. Here are your fries. Third time. Hopefully they're good." And I vividly remember thinking at the moment, okay, you have 2 choices now. Either you get pissed off at this guy, or you challenge yourself to keep an open mind and to try to talk to him about, something else than, his visit at the restaurant, and just try to see who he is as a person. It was at a time where I paid a lot of attention to the way I communicated and to the way I engage with other people in order to get to know them better and to improve my experience with them. And so I asked him um, a couple questions. I don't know how we got the conversation started, but it turned out that he was the owner and operator of a travel agency in Iceland that focused on travel agencies, among others, for disabled people. Oh my god. This reminds me to record a podcast. I'm way ahead of you. Luckily, we can't edit this. um, Turns out he's the owner and operator of a travel agency, and me at the time wanting to be like a photographer and videographer, I was like, screaming inside. I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" But I held out to the very end of the conversation to mention that I, make videos, and that if he wants to, I can make some videos for him if he takes me on a, free trip for him. That was the gist of it. He seemed to like the idea, and eventually, I got my first travel videography job and gig for him. I didn't get paid. I just got basically taken on some day trips for free. But this is the way I got started, and it seems like luck. But the only reason this could happen is because I had learned some photography and videography skills before. I had gone to Iceland and worked in this place instead of staying in my hometown, and because I had kept an open mind and actually listened to him when he was speaking and tried to find out as much information as I could about him. It would have been the easiest thing in the world to serve him his fries and just leave, but I challenged myself in that moment to find out more. And this is what got me my very first foot in the door of the world of videography, which brought me now to Nepal. The second story is very, very similar. You will notice a pattern here. In 2024, I, over a couple corners, got to know an entrepreneur in Berlin. He runs a software company, and under the umbrella of his company, two really young guys set up video production house. A couple months before I found out about them, I applied to be a model. Like, why would I do that? Two things. One, I saw a video on social media of a girl who did rejection therapy and applied to be a model, and applied to Harvard and stuff. And I was like, hey, I can do that. Why not? And the second reason is that I knew a girl at the time that was a model. And we kind of talked about how she had done this and her experience. And she didn't only have positive things to say about it, but it kind of got me intrigued. Like, could I do that? And I didn't think I could. But on a whim, I sent out a couple of applications to a model agency and kind of forgot about it. 6 weeks later, I get an invitation to come in for a shooting because they wanted me. They wanted to represent me, and so I drove, had like a modeling shoot, which was something that I never had even thought about 3 months ago, and it was one of the. It was a really cool experience because it was something so new and a very new form of creative expression, and only because I did that could I take advantage of the next opportunity. Because 2 months after that shoot, one of the guys that set up the production company under the umbrella of the entrepreneur in Berlin posted an Instagram story, literally Instagram story. Hey, we're looking for models. I think it was like maybe in 3 or 4 weeks, somewhere in Germany. And I was like, hey, I'm free there. Here's some materials. Here's my the pictures and stuff that had just been taken. Yeah, I'm free. And he got back to me. Great. I looked at your pictures. I looked at your social media. Sounds good. We'll pay for transport, accommodation, and I got paid for this. And so I got paid for modeling, which is something that I had never done before. For an actual shoot, I just filmed myself and went to this shooting, and I only got there because I applied on a whim. And on that shoot, it was 2 days, I got to meet these incredibly ambitious, hardworking, but also very energetic and playful guys who filmed and who produced that. Who produced this commercial that I was modeling for. I had like such an amazing time shooting with the entire crew. I learned so much, and it was just an amazing experience. I only had this because I applied for things I couldn't think I could get, and I reached out to him when he was looking for models, even though I was like, well, I've never done this before. And this got me one of just a very amazing experience and memory, which I learned from and then can take to other opportunities. Now, finally, how did I get here? The story is very similar. I was in New Zealand, and I had a group trip lined up in Nepal that I was leading, working as a travel guide. The way I got there is a whole different story. But essentially, I was going to spend a week in Nepal anyway, or about 10 days, and I thought I want to go to Everest Base Camp while I'm there. But I'm not into paying for things. No, I just didn't want to pay for it because it was quite expensive. And I thought, hey, how can I get this for free? I reached out to, I think, 7 or 8 different travel companies that operate here in Nepal and offered them to make social media content, photos and videos and promotional material for them in exchange for them taking me on this trek for free. And of 8 companies I reached out to, 7 completely ignored me. Only one of them even got back to me. And this is the company that I'm here with now, whose owner has become a friend and a collaborator and a good partner, and who takes me on this trip now. He said yes, and then in addition to that, I got in my friend Victor, because he has experience in documentary filmmaking, and said to the owner, hey, if you take us both, we're not going to only make social media content for them, we can make a short documentary that includes one of your guides and your company, to, just not only document the life in Nepal, but also show any potential clients of yours the work you do, the people you work with, the guides you have, so that they trust you in advance. Because trust is very important when you design travel experiences. And he said yes. Over the months, we worked and planned and organized to set this up. And now, at the end of a 13-month trip around the world, I'm here. And all of these stories have a couple of things in common. They have in common that I was curious. They have in common that I took proactive action. Um, and they have in common that I took advantage of positive opportunities. Because, and I think, the overarching lesson is that you can create your own luck if you just learn things, if you learn things, if you make things, if you create, if you build, if you reach out to people. I'm having a hard time formulating this right now because it's very off the cuff, but I think you get the gist of this. Talk to people, message them, whatever it takes, because there are so many opportunities out there that just wait for someone to discover them, essentially. Now, me speaking about this is, I think, as much as it comes out of a desire to share it with you, but also out of a desire to remind myself that there's always room to create new opportunities as I head into the next season of my life. And I hope this inspires you and maybe gives you a kick in the butt, because I think I probably would have needed it a while back. Someone telling me, hey, there are opportunities out there for the taking. You just gotta move and find them. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something. Greetings from Lukla, and see you next week.